Power. We all know what it is, or at least we think we do, until we realize it is simply a reflection of our own ideals, easily distorted when your reputation is at stake. In the play Julius Caesar, Shakespeare demonstrates that power can be shaped by the manipulation of an individual's public image and the moral shields used to justify one's personal ambition. This is profoundly embodied by Brutus, who is challenged by the internal conflict between noble intentions and the reality of betrayal. It is then finally exposed as a source of total moral collapse when a leader's perception can no longer hide the moral decay. In my digital suitcase, I have chosen two objects that represent Brutus's relationship with power, a cracked marble statue and a mirror in a dark room. Throughout this digital suitcase, I will first explore how a cracked marble statue reveals the ultimate moral erosion of Brutus's character. My second object, a mirror in a dark room, will disclose Brutus's distorted perception of his own image. Shakespeare demonstrates that power is challenged by the internal conflict between public honor and private loyalty, ultimately revealing that a shattered identity cannot sustain authority. In Julius Caesar, Brutus is the embodiment of this struggle. Take a look at this cracked marble statue. It represents the cold, stoic, perfect Roman exterior Brutus projects. We hear this obsession in his own words, "I love the name of honor more than I fear death." Through this hyperbole, he exaggerates his stoicism to weaponize his reputation and gain moral authority. But take a look closer at the cracks. They are a visual record of him sacrificing his friend for a name, fracturing his identity. Ultimately, this reveals that a shattered identity cannot sustain authority. Additionally, Brutus uses an antithesis to claim,
"Not that I loved Caesar less, but that I loved Rome more,"
using logical manipulation to rebrand betrayal as more love. Yet, these cracks don't just represent his moral collapse but also the truth. His power is an illusion. By sacrificing loyalty for the state, his noble strength is misused and his moral authority begins to erode. Ultimately, the symbolic statue proves that power built on a performative identity is destined to collapse. Finally, Brutus's emotive language, "I slew my best love for the good of Rome," highlights the peak of his conflict. He is willing to tear out his own heart to keep his honorable mask. Brutus uses the good of Rome as an excuse for his murder, further conveying that obligation and reputation greatly surpasses friendship. Thus, he uses a facade of honor to buy the power to kill, where the statue serves as a visual paradox. Its beauty and refined appearance mask Brutus's honor, whilst the cracks act as his inner conflict. Therefore, this reveals that power is something eventually destroyed by an individual's motivations. Moving on, Shakespeare also demonstrates that power can be shaped by an individual's distorted perception, where extreme idealism is weaponized to justify the pursuit of moral authority. A mirror surrounded by darkness represents the gap between Brutus's self-image and the reality of his ambition. Brutus states, "Let's carve him as a dish fit for the gods, not hew him as a carcass fit for hounds." Through this metaphorical contrast, Brutus effectively uses a religious illusion to rebrand a betrayal as a sacred ritual. This also examines how Brutus's extreme ambition for a perfect reputation can act as a moral shield, allowing him to weaponize this honor to justify a violent grab for political control. Thus, the mirror represents his self-reflective, noble image he has created that revolves around his reputation. Additionally, the rhetorical question used in "Did not great Julius bleed for justice's sake?" exposes his refusal to admit the chaos he has caused. This portrays his uncontrolled idealism, inciting self-collapse and his downfall. He insists on justice to mask the reality of his crimes, weaponizing his reputation to maintain a moral shield. Let's take another look at the mirror. We can see it is surrounded by an enveloping darkness. This represents the war and civil ruin Brutus refuses to acknowledge. Therefore, this reveals that power can be shaped by the gap between an individual's distorted perception of their image and the reality of their actions. In conclusion, Shakespeare's Julius Caesar proves that power is far more fragile than a title or a crown. It is a direct reflection of an individual's integrity. Through the cracked marble statue, we are able to grasp how a performative identity eventually shatters under the weight of betrayal and moral erosion. We are also able to witness how distorted perception and extreme idealism can blind a leader to the chaotic reality of their own ambition through the mirror surrounded by darkness. Ultimately, Brutus's journey reveals that while power can be shaped by reputation and challenged by conflict, it is inevitably exposed by the truth of one's actions.